My sister controlled my parents like puppets and banned me from their house. They chose her over my pregnant wife. Now they're regretting losing me. My sister convinced our parents I was abusive to my pregnant wife, and they believed her without asking me a single question. It started 3 months ago. My wife was 6 months pregnant, exhausted all the time, and I was doing everything I could to help her. We'd go to my parents' place every Sunday for dinner. It was tradition. But my sister lived with them after her divorce last year, and she always had something to say about how I treated my wife. You shouldn't let her sit like that, it's bad for the baby. Why are you making her eat that? She looks uncomfortable, maybe you should take her home. I ignored it at first. My sister always needed to be the center of attention. But it got worse. One Sunday, my wife asked for water. I was helping my dad in the garage, so my sister got it for her. When I came back inside, my sister pulled me aside. You know, you could be more attentive, she said. She's fine. I was helping Dad. That's not what it looks like. I didn't understand what she meant. My wife was sitting there talking to my mom, laughing about something. She looked happy. 2 weeks later, my mom called. She said my wife told my sister she was scared of me. That I yelled at her. That she felt trapped. I couldn't believe it. Mom, that's insane. When did she say this? Your sister told me. She's worried. Did you ask my wife directly? Silence. Then, your sister wouldn't lie about something like this. I went home and asked my wife about it. She had no idea what I was talking about. She never said anything to my sister. She barely talked to her at all because my sister made her uncomfortable. She's lying, my wife said. Why would she do that? I called my mom back. Told her my wife denied everything. My mom got defensive. Your sister is just looking out for her. Maybe your wife is afraid to tell you the truth. That's when I realized my sister had been poisoning them for weeks. The next Sunday, we showed up for dinner. My sister answered the door. You can't come in, she said. What are you talking about? Mom and Dad don't want you here. Not until you get help. My wife started crying behind me. I could see my parents standing in the hallway, not saying anything. Just watching. Dad? I said. What is this? He looked at the floor. My mom stepped forward. We think it's best if you don't come around for a while. Your sister says your wife needs space from you. My wife is standing right here. Ask her yourself. My mom looked at my wife but didn't say anything. My sister crossed her arms. She's scared of you. She told me. My wife's voice shook. I never said that. I don't know why you're doing this. My sister ignored her. Looked right at me. You're not welcome here anymore. I stood there for a minute, waiting for my parents to say something. To tell my sister she was wrong. To ask my wife directly what was going on. They didn't. So I left. I didn't call them. Didn't text. Nothing. My wife cried for days. She kept saying it was her fault, that she should have been nicer to my sister. I told her it wasn't about her. My sister wanted control, and my parents gave it to her. 2 months later, my wife went into labor early. It was scary. The baby came at 34 weeks. Spent a week in the NICU but ended up fine. My wife's recovery was rough, though. She had complications, needed surgery. I didn't tell my parents. Last week, my sister showed up at my door. She looked awful. Her eyes were red. You need to call Mom and Dad, she said. No. They miss you. They want to meet the baby. They made their choice. She started crying. Told me she didn't mean for it to go this far. That she was jealous because my wife and I were happy and her marriage fell apart. That she just wanted attention and it spiraled. You lied about my wife, I said. You told them I was abusive. You got me banned from their house. I know. I'm sorry. I told them the truth. They feel horrible. Good. She begged me to forgive them. Said my mom cries every night. That my dad barely eats. That they want to apologize and be in the baby's life. I told her to leave. My phone has been blowing up since then. My mom texted that she's sorry, that she should have listened to me. My dad called and said he made a mistake. They want to come over. Want to explain. But here's the thing. When my wife was in surgery, scared and in pain, they weren't there. When the baby was in the NICU hooked up to machines, they weren't there. They chose my sister's lies over their own son and grandchild. My wife says I should at least hear them out. That family is important. But I don't know if I can forgive them for believing I would hurt her without even asking me if it was true. So AITA for refusing to let my parents back into my life after they sided with my manipulative sister and abandoned us during the hardest time of our lives? So I posted a few days ago about cutting off my parents after they sided with my sister's lies. The response was overwhelming. A lot of people told me to stay strong, some said I was being too harsh. I don't know. I'm still processing everything. But things escalated fast. My parents showed up at my house unannounced yesterday morning. I was feeding the baby when I heard the doorbell. My wife answered before I could stop her. I heard my mom's voice in the hallway, shaky and desperate. Please, we just want to talk. I walked out holding the baby. My dad looked like he'd aged 10 years. My mom's eyes went straight to the baby and she started crying immediately. Get out, I said. Please, my dad said. Just 5 minutes. My wife touched my arm. Maybe we should hear them out. I looked at her. She'd been through hell because of them. The fact that she was even considering this made me angrier. You have 2 minutes, I said. My mom couldn't stop staring at the baby. She reached out like she was going to touch him and I stepped back. Don't. My dad cleared his throat. We were wrong. Your sister admitted everything. She made it all up because she was jealous. We should have asked you directly. We should have talked to your wife. We failed you both. You think an apology fixes this? No, my mom said. But we want to try. We want to be in his life. Please. I could feel my wife watching me. The baby started fussing. You believed I was abusive, I said. You looked at me, your son, and decided I was capable of hurting my pregnant wife. You didn't ask questions. You didn't give me a chance to defend myself. You just chose her. We made a mistake, my dad said. A mistake is forgetting someone's birthday. This was a choice. You chose her manipulation over me. Over your grandchild. My mom was sobbing now. We're so sorry. We'll do anything. Leave, I said. And don't come back. They stood there for another minute before my dad finally turned to go. My mom kept looking back at the baby as they walked to their car. After they left, my wife and I had our first real fight since this whole thing started. She thinks I'm being cruel. That they apologized and I should at least consider letting them see the baby. They're his grandparents, she said. They called me abusive. They made you cry for weeks. You had complications during delivery and they weren't there because they believed lies about us. I know, but family is complicated. Not this complicated. She hasn't brought it up since, but I can tell she's upset with me. Then this morning, my sister called. I almost didn't answer. They're falling apart, she said. Mom can't stop crying. Dad's not sleeping. Good. You're really going to punish them forever? You destroyed my relationship with them. You lied about my wife. About me. And now you want me to feel bad that there are consequences? I told them the truth. I apologized. You apologized because you got caught. Because they found out you lied. Not because you felt guilty. She went quiet. What did you think would happen? I asked. That I'd just forgive everyone and we'd all move on? You accused me of abusing my pregnant wife. Do you understand what that did to her? To me? I was messed up. My divorce, everything. I don't care. Your problems aren't an excuse to destroy other people's lives. She hung up. My wife overheard the whole thing. She didn't say anything but I could see it in her face. She thinks I'm being too harsh. But here's what I keep coming back to. When my wife was in surgery, terrified and in pain, my parents weren't there. When our baby was premature and in the NICU, they weren't there. They chose my sister's version of events without ever asking us if it was true. And now they want back in because my sister confessed? Because they feel guilty? I don't know if I can do it. My wife says I need to think about what's best for the baby. That he deserves to know his grandparents. But what kind of grandparents abandon their grandchild based on lies? I'm torn between wanting to protect my family and wondering if I'm making this worse by keeping them away. My wife moved out 3 days ago. I didn't see it coming. We'd been tense since my parents showed up, but I thought we were working through it. Then on Tuesday night, after I put the baby down, she sat me down at the kitchen table. I can't do this anymore, she said. Do what? Watch you destroy yourself over this. Your anger is eating you alive and I don't know how to help you. I didn't know what to say. She looked exhausted. They apologized, she continued. They admitted they were wrong. I know what they did was horrible, but you won't even consider forgiveness. And I get it, I really do. But I'm watching you become someone I don't recognize. They believed I abused you. I know. And that hurt me too. But I've had time to process it and I think, I don't know, maybe they deserve a second chance. That's when I realized we were never going to agree on this. She packed a bag that night. Took the baby to her mom's place. Said she needed space to think. That we both did. I've been alone in this house for 3 days and it's driving me insane. Yesterday my aunt called. My mom's sister. She tore into me for 20 minutes about how I'm tearing the family apart. How my mom is on medication now because of the stress. How my dad hasn't gone to work in a week. Your sister made a mistake, she said. A mistake? She was going through a divorce. She wasn't thinking clearly. So that makes it okay? No, but you're punishing your parents for believing her. They're human. They made a judgment call. They made the wrong call. And they're sorry. What more do you want? I hung up on her. Then my uncle called an hour later. Then my cousin. All of them saying the same thing. That I'm being unreasonable. That family forgives. That I'm hurting everyone by being stubborn. No one seems to understand that this isn't about stubbornness. It's about trust. They looked at me and saw someone capable of hurting my wife. That's not something you just get over. This morning my sister showed up at my work. She waited in the parking lot until my lunch break. We need to talk, she said. I have nothing to say to you. Mom's in the hospital. That stopped me. What? She had a panic attack last night. Thought she was having a heart attack. Dad called an ambulance. She's okay but the doctor said it was stress related. I felt sick. This is what you wanted, right? My sister said. To make them suffer? I didn't want any of this. You did this. You lied and now everyone's dealing with the consequences. I know I messed up. I've apologized 100 times. But you're making it worse by refusing to forgive them. They didn't do anything except believe the wrong person. They didn't even ask me if it was true. They should have. But they didn't. And now mom's in the hospital because you won't let it go. She left before I could respond. I drove to the hospital after work. I don't know why. Maybe because some part of me still cares. Maybe because I felt guilty. My dad was in the waiting room. He looked up when he saw me and for a second I thought he might hug me. But he just nodded. She's sleeping, he said. We sat there in silence for a while. Your wife called me yesterday, he finally said. I looked at him. She's worried about you. Says you're not eating. Not sleeping. I'm fine. You're not. And neither are we. This whole thing is destroying everyone. I didn't start this. No, your sister did. But you're the one keeping it going. That hit me harder than I expected. I defended you my whole life, I said. Every time someone said something bad about our family, I defended you. And the one time I needed you to defend me, you didn't. You believed I was capable of hurting the person I love most. My dad's eyes filled with tears. I know. And I'll regret that for the rest of my life. But at some point you have to decide if you want to be right or if you want your family back. I left before my mom woke up. When I got home, my wife was there. She'd let herself in with her key. The baby was asleep in his carrier. We need to figure this out, she said. I know. I love you. But I can't watch you destroy yourself over this. And I can't raise our son in the middle of a war between you and your family. What do you want me to do? I want you to consider therapy. For yourself. Maybe for us. And I want you to think about whether cutting them off forever is really what's best or if it's just what feels right when you're angry. She stayed that night. We didn't really talk, just existed in the same space. But this morning she said she'd give me a week to figure out what I wanted. To decide if I could move forward or if I was going to hold on to this forever. I don't know what to do. Part of me feels like I'm betraying myself if I forgive them. Like I'm saying what they did was okay. But another part knows my wife is right. That this is consuming me. My sister destroyed my relationship with my parents. But I'm the one destroying my relationship with my wife. I'm writing this from my new apartment. It's smaller than the house, barely furnished, but it's mine. The divorce papers came last week. Let me back up because I know the last update left things hanging. My wife gave me a week to figure things out. I spent that week in therapy like she asked. Went to 3 sessions in 5 days. The therapist was nice enough, but she kept pushing me toward reconciliation with my parents. Kept saying things like holding on to anger will only hurt you and forgiveness is for yourself, not them. But here's what I realized sitting in that office. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. I called my wife on day 6. Told her I'd go to my parents' house, that I'd try. She sounded relieved. We drove over together that Saturday. My wife held the baby the whole way there. Neither of us spoke much. When we pulled into their driveway, I saw my sister's car and almost turned around. My wife touched my hand. Please. We went inside. My parents were in the living room. My mom stood up when she saw us, saw the baby, and started crying immediately. My dad just stared. My sister was sitting on the couch looking uncomfortable. Thank you for coming, my mom said. I didn't respond. Just stood there holding my wife's hand while my mom cooed over the baby. She asked to hold him and my wife looked at me. I nodded. Watching my mom hold my son felt wrong. Like I was betraying something. But I was trying. We sat down. My dad cleared his throat about 5 times before he finally spoke. We know we hurt you. Both of you. And we know sorry doesn't fix it. But we want to try. We want to be in his life. In your lives. Okay, I said. My mom looked hopeful. Really? On one condition. Everyone waited. She can't be here, I said, looking at my sister. My sister's face went pale. What? If you want me in your life, she can't be. I can't be in the same room as her. I can't pretend what she did was forgivable. My mom looked between us. But she's your sister. She accused me of abusing my pregnant wife. She manipulated you into believing I was dangerous. Those aren't mistakes. That's deliberate cruelty. My sister stood up. I apologized. How many times do I have to say it? You can say it forever. Doesn't change what you did. My dad intervened. We're not choosing between our children. Then you're choosing her, I said. Again. My wife squeezed my hand. Maybe we should all take a breath. But I was already standing. I came here because my wife asked me to. I tried. But I can't sit here and play happy family with someone who tried to destroy my marriage. So you decide. Her or me. But you don't get both. My mom started crying harder. My sister was yelling something about me being cruel. My dad just sat there looking tired. My wife and I left. In the car, she was quiet for a long time. Then she said, that was an ultimatum. Yes. You knew they'd pick her. Yes. So what was the point? The point was I tried. Like you asked. She didn't talk to me for the rest of the drive. That night, after the baby was asleep, she told me she couldn't do this anymore. That I was so consumed with punishing my family that I'd lost sight of everything else. That she'd watched me become bitter and cold and she didn't recognize me. I told her I was just protecting us. She said I was protecting my anger. We agreed to separate the next day. She said she still loved me but she couldn't stay married to someone who chose revenge over healing. I didn't argue because part of me knew she was right. The divorce took 4 months. It was civil. We split custody of the baby. I see him 3 days a week. It's not enough, but it's what I agreed to. My parents reached out a few times in the beginning. My mom sent texts asking to meet, to talk. My dad left voicemails. I didn't respond. Eventually they stopped trying. Last month, my cousin told me my sister moved out of my parents' house. Got her own place across town. Apparently my mom and dad were fighting constantly about what happened. My dad blamed my sister for everything. My mom tried to defend her, but even she couldn't justify it anymore. The family fractured. People took sides. Most of them took mine, which somehow didn't make me feel any better. My aunt, the one who called me unreasonable, apologized through my cousin. Said she didn't understand how bad it was. I didn't respond to that either. 2 weeks ago, I ran into my dad at the grocery store. We made eye contact across the produce section. He looked older. Smaller somehow. He opened his mouth like he wanted to say something, then just nodded and walked away. I stood there holding a bag of apples thinking about how weird it was that this was my life now. That my parents were strangers. That my marriage ended. That I see my son 3 days a week instead of every day. People ask me if I regret it. If I wish I'd handled things differently. Honestly, I don't know. I regret that my sister lied. I regret that my parents believed her. I regret that my wife couldn't understand why I couldn't just forgive and move on. But do I regret standing my ground? No. What my family did, choosing my sister's lies over me, believing I could hurt my wife without even asking if it was true, that broke something fundamental. And everyone kept expecting me to just get over it. To prioritize their comfort over my hurt. My therapist, the new one I'm seeing, says I'm dealing with betrayal trauma. That my reaction was valid, but maybe my approach wasn't. That I had every right to be angry, but I let that anger make my decisions. She might be right. My ex-wife is dating someone now. My cousin told me. Some guy from her work. They took my son to the zoo last weekend. I saw the pictures on social media before I blocked her. The baby looked happy. I'm not dating. Honestly, can't imagine trusting someone enough to let them in right now. I work, I see my son, I go to therapy. That's my life. My sister never apologized directly to me after that day at my parents' house. I heard through family that she's in therapy too. That she's trying to work through whatever made her do what she did. Good for her, I guess. Sometimes late at night, I wonder what would have happened if I'd just forgiven them. If I'd swallowed my pride and let my parents back in. Would my wife still be here? Would we still be a family? But then I remember the look on my dad's face when my sister told them I was abusive. The way he didn't defend me. Didn't question it. Just accepted it as truth. And I remember why I couldn't let that go. I lost my parents, my sister, and my wife. I see my son half the time. My family thinks I'm stubborn and unforgiving. My ex-wife thinks I chose anger over love. Maybe they're all right. But I also know that if I'd forgiven them, I would have spent the rest of my life wondering if they really believed I'd changed or if they were just waiting for me to prove them right. I would have sat at every family dinner knowing they once thought I was capable of hurting the person I loved most. And I couldn't live like that. So here I am. Alone in a small apartment with my son's toys in the corner and pictures of him on every wall. Building a life that looks nothing like the one I planned. I don't know if I made the right choices. I don't know if there even were right choices. All I know is that I couldn't betray myself by pretending their betrayal didn't matter. And I guess I'll have to live with that.